Here are the top 10 most promiscuous actresses in Hollywood history.
Oh. I thought you were someone else.
Mansfield, the iconic blonde bombshell, reveled in numerous passionate affairs and sensual escapades, even rumored to have had a relationship with none other than JFK himself. At number 10, we have Elizabeth Taylor. Renowned for her distinctive beauty and compelling acting skills, Elizabeth Taylor was also notorious for her reputation as one of Hollywood's most captivating seductresses. She gained a reputation for being very experimental in the bedroom. Her most scandalous episode unfolded when she engaged in a relationship with singer Eddie Fisher, who happened to be married to her close friend, Debbie Reynolds, at the time. One article says that Fisher and Taylor often involved 2 to 3 other people in their sexual activities. Taylor and Fisher eventually tied the knot, but later parted ways. In later years, Taylor extended an apology to Reynolds, leading to their reconciliation and the renewal of their friendship. Over the course of her life, Taylor entered into matrimony 7 times, with her true love, actor Richard Burton, becoming her husband twice. Following her divorce from her final spouse, construction worker Larry Fortinsky, in 1996, she seemingly decided to bid farewell to romantic relationships and remained unattached until her passing in 2011. Number 9, Vivien Leigh. Celebrated for her remarkable portrayals of both Scarlett O'Hara and Blanche Dubois, Vivien Leigh was also renowned for her captivating beauty and intense sexual activities. However, her path to success, along with her tumultuous marriage to Sir Laurence Olivier, was far from straightforward or morally uncomplicated. As recounted in one of the numerous documentaries dedicated to her life, Leigh boldly declared, "That's the man I'm going to marry," upon seeing Laurence Olivier in a play, even though she was already wedded to another man. This audacious ambition led her to cast aside people in her pursuit of what she truly desired. Olivier, himself already married to actress Jill Esmond, became the object of Leigh's pursuit even while they were vacationing in Capri with his pregnant spouse. Despite Olivier's less than virtuous behavior, he ultimately chose to end his marriage with Esmond and marry Leigh shortly thereafter. Number 8, Tallulah Bankhead. Elegant, rebellious, quick-witted and unafraid to ruffle feathers with her outspoken nature, Tallulah Bankhead was an unparalleled sex symbol. The actor-writer Emlyn Williams once famously characterized her voice as saturated with sensuality, pushing the boundaries of human expression. Her desires knew no bounds. One particularly memorable tale, as recounted by The New Yorker, involves John Emery, a lesser-known actor Tallulah had encountered during her summer circuit, whom she married somewhat casually. Emery possessed good looks, talent and charm, with an uncanny resemblance to John Barrymore, both in appearance and demeanor. Years prior, when Barrymore had unveiled his attributes to her in his dressing room, Tallulah had made a solemn vow to herself and anyone within earshot that she would only be intimate with men endowed like Barrymore. She even claimed to have upheld this standard despite boasting of over 500 conquests, suggesting that perhaps her selectivity wasn't always consistent. As part of her unique charisma, Tallulah would playfully lead guests to the master bedroom, dramatically unveil the sleeping Emery, and exclaim, "Have you ever seen such a remarkable specimen before?" Tallulah was known for her sexual background and is rumored to have slept with close to 1,000 men during her lifetime. At number 7, Jayne Mansfield. When it comes to discussing the most alluring and vivacious women in Hollywood history, Jayne Mansfield is often mentioned. She's remembered for her flamboyant and provocative lifestyle, leaving an indelible mark on the entertainment world. Who could ever forget that memorable moment when Sophia Loren couldn't help but glance at Mansfield's striking décolletage? Mansfield, the iconic blonde bombshell, reveled in numerous passionate affairs and sensual escapades, even rumored to have had a relationship with none other than JFK himself. However, her most infamous association was with Anton LaVey, the enigmatic founder of the Church of Satan. As sources indicate, Mansfield didn't shy away from toying with the infatuated Satanist. Despite her openness about her amorous adventures, she vehemently denied any intimate involvement with LaVey. According to LaVey's publicist, Mansfield would occasionally make provocative calls from her Los Angeles home, playfully teasing LaVey while her friends eavesdropped on the conversation. It's worth noting that LaVey's claims of an affair with Mansfield only surfaced after her tragic demise in a car accident, which he audaciously attributed to a curse he had placed on her lover, Sam Brody. Number 6. Clara Bow. Bow, the iconic silent film sensation often referred to as the original It Girl, stands out as one of the earliest and most sensational figures in Hollywood's history. Her notoriety reached its peak when she decided to retire from the film industry in 1931, a mere 28 years old, amidst a swirl of scandalous tales. Yet it's worth noting that many of these so-called scandals were rooted in the romanticism of a bygone era, a sentiment Bow embraced wholeheartedly, much like her contemporaries. As detailed in an article from The Hairpin, Bow, like numerous female stars of her time, regarded her relationships with the men in her life, most of whom she probably had intimate connections with, as engagements. This perspective led to a string of swiftly formed and dissolved engagements involving notable names like Gary Cooper, director Victor Fleming, and the charismatic Latin lover Gilbert Roland. In an intriguing twist, Bow even developed a crush on her Hollywood doctor, a situation that escalated into a divorce case filed by the doctor's wife, citing Bow's involvement as a factor in alienation of affection. However, it's essential to consider these events with a critical eye, as they may have been sensationalized or even unjust. Other controversies also swirled around Bow, including the infamous accusation that she had relations with the entire USC football team. Additionally, her personal records were stolen by her secretary, who later attempted to blackmail her by leveling accusations of constant drunkenness and various indiscretions. Number 5. Louise Brooks. Brooks had an incredibly brief yet highly influential career in the film industry. She held a deep disdain for Hollywood, preferring to create her own sanctuary, often described as a place of sex, books, and gin, as memorably stated in a Pop Matters article. Brooks was no stranger to indulging in life's pleasures. She left her first husband, director Eddie Sutherland, when she fell head over heels for George Preston Marshall, the owner of the Washington Redskins. But that wasn't the end of her romantic escapades. She left Marshall for another man, only to leave him within 6 months. Brooks enjoyed numerous love affairs, including a memorable one-night encounter with the legendary Greta Garbo. She also had a penchant for posing in the nude. Despite her whirlwind life, Brooks's career in the film industry came to an abrupt halt by the time she was just 26. While her subsequent financial struggles brought their own set of challenges, she never truly regretted stepping away from the Hollywood spotlight. If you've enjoyed this video so far, please hit the subscribe button. We appreciate all of you and love having you here. Now, here's the top 4 most promiscuous women in Hollywood history. At number 4, Lupe Velez. Famously known as the Mexican Spitfire, she is primarily remembered today for the intriguing urban legends that have swirled around her life and death. She's often associated with the myth of her tragic demise, which suggests she passed away with her head in a toilet, supposedly in response to her lover's abandonment during her pregnancy. However, historical accounts reveal that she was actually discovered in her bed by her secretary. Velez had a prolonged romantic involvement with actor Gary Cooper, whom she regarded as the love of her life. However, her jealousy led to accusations of Cooper being involved with other individuals, including actor Anderson Lawler. According to certain anecdotes, she allegedly unzipped Cooper's pants at social events, claiming to detect Lawler's cologne. Recognized for her bold and uninhibited persona, Velez was rumored to have had a multitude of lovers and engaged in risque behaviors, such as lifting her dress above her head, demonstrating her preference for not wearing underwear. Nevertheless, it's important to note that many of these accounts may have been exaggerated, as Velez was believed to have intentionally fueled the flames of gossip. Number 3. Diana Dors. In the world of Hollywood, Dors stood out as an iconic figure known for her extravagant mansion, flamboyant lifestyle, and extravagant sex parties. Dors, a British cult actress, lived a life defined by notoriety. She walked down the aisle 3 times, had a multitude of romantic entanglements, and even earned the rather quaint moniker of a wayward hussy from the Archbishop of Canterbury. But her fame extended beyond her appearances in low-budget films. She also became infamous for recording intimate encounters that took place within her opulent residence. One article mentions that she once took on 4 men at once. Legend has it that her guests would gather with anticipation, greeted by cheers and laughter, to watch grainy footage transmitted via video link. These videos captured unsuspecting couples engaging in intimate activities in the dimly lit upstairs bedrooms of Orchard Manor in Sunningdale, Berkshire. It's safe to say that during the notorious sex parties at her mansion, virtually anything was considered acceptable. Number 2. Barbara Lamar. Silent film icon. Barbara Lamar may have graced the silver screen in just 27 films during her brief career, but her story holds a captivating place in the annals of Hollywood history, particularly in the context of discussing the most promiscuous women in Hollywood. Born as Reatha Dale Watson in Yakima, Washington, her Hollywood journey was fueled by an unwavering desire to become a great tragedienne and wield a dagger, as she herself declared. Her trajectory to stardom took an unconventional route. Not as well known as some of her contemporaries, her allure and audacity set her apart. As reported by LA Weekly, Lamar, once described by a judge as too beautiful to be in a big city, embarked on a quest for fame, initially traveling across the country with her second husband. Eventually, she left him behind to marry her 3rd spouse, described as a dancer and check forger. It wasn't until she reached Hollywood that her star began to rise, catching the attention of Douglas Fairbanks. Lamar's notoriety grew not only for her wild love life, which led her to leave her 3rd husband in 1921, but also for her dramatic and liberated bon mots that titillated the lost generation of flappers and philosophers. She boldly proclaimed, "I take lovers like roses, by the dozen. I cheat nature. I never sleep more than 2 hours per night. I have better things to do. One loves to live only because one lives to love." Yet, as fate would have it, her fortunes took a dark turn. She passed away at the tender age of 29, possibly due to tuberculosis, earning her the posthumous title of Screenland's Beautiful Lady of Sorrow. In the realm of the most promiscuous women in Hollywood history, Barbara Lamar's life story remains a fascinating and alluring tale worth remembering. And finally, number 1, conjoined twins. Daisy and Violet Hilton are perhaps most famously associated with their roles in Todd Browning's cult classic Freaks and Henry L. Fraser's exploitation film Chained for Life. However, their cinematic careers extended beyond these notable films, and they achieved stardom during the vibrant vaudeville era of the 1920s and 30s. Despite their physical connection at the lower back and spine, the twins, known for their captivating beauty and vivacious personalities, were rumored to have engaged in numerous romantic entanglements. They reportedly enjoyed the glamorous life of A-list America, indulging in hedonistic pleasures, partying extravagantly, and even pursuing a string of lovers. Additionally, they navigated the complex waters of marriage, divorce, and even had a child. Their unique conjoined status left them without physical privacy, leading them to learn from Harry Houdini how to mentally tune each other out when necessary, a skill they would later employ with great effect in their romantic pursuits. Their first documented affair was allegedly with a married acquaintance whose spouse included them in her divorce proceedings. Daisy's attempt to marry musician Jack Lewis proved problematic, as 21 states refused to grant a marriage license, citing potential bigamy due to the conjoined nature of the union. The Hilton twins' lives were in many ways shaped by the era in which they lived and the demanding Hollywood industry. As they grew older and were deemed too old for show business, they fell into poverty, ultimately meeting tragic ends. If you've enjoyed this video, then leave us a comment stating your opinion on who should have been mentioned. Make sure to subscribe, as your suggestions may appear in future videos.